Exodus 21. Laws about slaves. This is going to be a long video, so stick around and I'll give a pretty good explanation of stuff. Now, these are the rules that you shall set before them. When you buy a Hebrew slave, he shall serve 6 years, and in the seventh he shall go free, for nothing. If he comes in single, he shall go out single. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master gives him a wife, and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out alone. But if the slave plainly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him to God, and he shall bring him to the door or doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall be his slave forever. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, shall not go out as the male slaves do. If she does not please her master, who has designated her for himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to foreign people, since he has broken faith with her. If he designates her for his son, he shall deal with her as with a daughter. If he takes another wife to himself, he shall not diminish her food, her clothing, or her marital rights. And if he does not do these things for her, she shall go out for nothing, without payment of money. Whoever strikes a man so that he dies shall be put to death. But if he did not lie in wait for him, but God let him fall into his hand, then I will appoint for you a place to which he may flee. But if a man willfully attacks another man by cunning, you shall take him from my altar, that he may die. Whoever strikes his father or his mother shall be put to death. Whoever steals a man and sells him, and anyone found in possession of him shall be put to death. Whoever curses his father or his mother shall be put to death. When men quarrel and one strikes the other with a stone or his fist, and the man does not die but takes to his bed, then, if the man rises again and walks out the door with his staff, he who struck him shall be clear. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall have him thoroughly healed. When a man strikes his slave, male or female, with a rod, and the slave dies under his hand, he shall be avenged. But if the slave survives a day or two, he is not to be avenged, for his slave is his money. When men strive together and hit a pregnant woman so that her children come out, but there is no harm, the one who hit her shall surely be fined, as the woman's husband shall impose on him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. But if there is harm, then you shall pay life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. When a man strikes the eye of his slaves, male or female, and destroys it, he shall let the slave go free because of his eye. If he knocks out the tooth of his slave, male or female, he shall let the slave go free because of his tooth. When an ox gores a man or woman to death, the ox shall be stoned, and its flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox shall not be liable. But if the ox has been accustomed to gore in the past, and its owner has been warned but has not kept it in, and it kills a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner shall also be put to death. If a ransom is imposed on him, then he shall give for the redemption of his life whatever is imposed on him. If it gores a man's son or daughter, he shall be dealt with according to the same rule. If the ox gores a slave, male or female, the owner shall give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. So, that was a lot, but let's get into it. So, let slaves free. They work 6 years, and on the seventh they will be free to go. And if he came in as a slave single, then he has to go out as a slave single. But if he came in married, then his wife may go with him. But if his master gives him a wife, and she bears him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, because the master gave the wife and children, and he shall go alone. But if he loves his master, he can get his ear bored, and he'll be a slave forever. So this sort of slavery, I don't think it's anything like the slavery you're thinking about. I think it's more of indentured servitude, because there's not really a case of slaves really wanting to stay with their masters at all. and it's gonna see there's some different treating than you would usually hear. If you sell your daughter as a slave and she doesn't please her master, he cannot sell her to foreign people. Verse 12. Whoever strikes a man so that he dies shall be put to death. This is clear, this is murder. If a man tries to kill another dude so he can die. But if he did not lie in wait for him, but God let him fall into his hand, then I will appoint for you a place to which he may flee. So, if this person falls, he's fighting this person, and God lets him, the man that he's fighting, fall into his hands, that's more of a manslaughter. And you will have a place where you'll be appointed to flee and run away. Whoever strikes his mother or father shall be put to death, or curses his mother or father. Verse 16, whoever steals a man and sells him, and anyone found in possession of him shall be put to death. So whoever kidnaps a man and sells him to slavery, it's not allowed. Verse 18, when men quarrel and one strikes the other with a stone or with his fist, and the man does not die but takes to his bed. So that in that case, I'm assuming it's either they're bedridden or they're in a coma or something. That's not really the man gets up and is alive, and he gets out of the coma or he's no longer bedridden. The man who did that to him is not guilty of murder, but he will have to pay for the loss of the time. Verse 20. When a man strikes a slave, male or female, with a rod, and the slave dies under his hand, he shall be avenged. So, if a man strikes a slave and the slave dies, that's murder. The slave will be avenged. And then, that was my dog. Verse 21. But if the slave survives a day or two, he is not to be avenged, for the slave is his money. So, if the man strikes the slave, survives for a couple days, and then dies, the loss of the slave is already the payment that he has to make. If two men fight and hit a pregnant woman, causing an early birth, and there is no harm, a fine will be placed. But if there is harm, it will be a life for a life, an eye for eye, for tooth, hand for hand, foot for burn, for wound, all that. If a man strikes the eye of his slave and destroys it, the man will have to let them go. If he knocks out a tooth of the slave, male or female, he shall let the slave go free. If an ox gores somebody, it will be killed. If an ox gores a man and a woman to death, the ox shall be stoned, and its flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox shall not be liable. But if the ox has been known to gore people in the past, and its owner has been warned before, but has not done anything about it, and it kills somebody, that man will be killed with the ox. Laws about restitution. When a man opens a pit, or when a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or donkey falls into it, the owner of the pit shall make restoration. He shall give money to its owner, and the dead beast shall be his. When one man's ox butts another, so that it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and share its price, and the dead beast also they shall share. Or, if it is known that the ox has been accustomed to gore in the past, and its owner has not kept it in, he shall repay ox for ox, and the dead beast shall be his. So, if an animal falls into a pit or anything, there will be a fine on the man who dug the pit. If an ox butts another, causing the other to die, both will be sold, and it will be shared between the owners. But if this happens very often, it's known to gore, then it will be an ox for an ox, and the dead beast will be the original owners, I think. All right, that is the end of Exodus chapter 21. Thank you for watching. Join my Discord server. We can talk more about this. Subscribe, and goodbye.